Hey guys, this is Alfred back with another video. Today I'll be talking to you guys about 10 of the strongest TCG cards that I feel are really strong in the meta right now and can be used in many decks, not just a single particular deck. Before we start this video, just a few things to note. Number one, this is purely based on my opinion. I find these cards to be really strong and really viable on the type of decks I play. Number two, this game is literally just a week old, so it's really new. So definitely things will change in the future and there's meta yet to be discovered. So take this video with a grain of salt, but in case you're wondering what cards are the best, these are the cards, in my opinion, the best cards in TCG at the moment. Number one, we have Strategize. Strategize has been hyped since the release of TCG. Basically what the card does, you draw 2 cards for the cost of 1 dice. Now this is really good. This card literally is the one card you can use in any deck because it allows you to draw more options and gives you more resources to deal with what the enemy has. You can literally use this card in any deck you play, whether it be aggro or tempo decks, mid-range decks, control decks, or OTK decks. Strategize is just such a fantastic card to have, and you should have this in every single deck you play. Number two, we have Sendoff. Sendoff is that card that counters one of the archetypes called summons. For the cost of 2 dice, you're able to destroy your opponent's summon. Now, why is Sendoff such a good card? Is because you literally nullify a single archetype of deck. If your opponent is going a summon deck, suddenly Sendoff value increases. Running at least 1 Sendoff in the deck for reassurance is very good and is very doable. Number 3, we have I Haven't Lose Yet. Now, a lot of people might think that this card is pretty useless, especially when you're playing against the NPCs who have a hard time killing your characters. However, do note that in PvP, actual players will be killing your characters, and I Haven't Lost Yet is such a good card because number 1, it's free, and number 2, you gain an Omni Element, which is a dice you can use for any element, and number 2, you gain 1 energy for your current active character. So the amount of value you're getting just from one of your characters dying is really good. Number 4, we have Liyue. As the Giga Chad Liyue is in normal Genshin, in TCG, he is such a fantastic card as well. For the price of 0 dice, so similar to I Haven't Lost Yet, which is literally free, you're able to gain 2 Omni Element and 2 cards when you collect 3 elemental dice. So these 3 dice has to be 3 different elements, just to take note. But once you collect all 3, you're able to gain 2 cards and 2 Omni Element the next turn, and you'll be discarding Liyue. Now, why this card is so good? It's such a good card in control decks, slow decks, and OTK because you're able to just use up these unused element dice, which are probably elements that you're not able to use for your team and you just want to throw away but don't waste them. Liyue is a fantastic card for that scenario. Number 5, we have the Elemental Resonance dice. Now, why the Elemental Resonance dice is really good? Although it forces you to run 2 of a specific element, you still get the benefit of getting a free elemental dice when you meet the requirements. And on top of that, normally for setup decks and for control decks or tempo decks, you want to be able to make sure you have the right elemental dice for your main carries. This is why it's really important to have an elemental dice, if you're able to, in your deck, so you're able to set up for these big turns. Number 6, we have Tang. Tian is such an amazing card because you basically gain 1 energy for your active character at the end of the round. Now, a similar card is Liyue. However, Liyue requires you to switch characters, so that's the only requirement. However, Tian is able to guarantee this every single time. And if the current character you're using has maximum energy, he will basically just pass the energy off to your other characters who do not have maximum energy. Number 7, we have the best travel companion. Now, this card is really good for the price of 2 dice, which can be of any element. You convert these 2 dice into 2 Omni Element, which is just fantastic, especially for fast decks and especially for OTK decks where you have really bad RNG. The best travel companion is able to fix this RNG by taking 2 dices that you don't use and converting them into Omni dice, which can be used for any characters. Number 8, we have Tossup. Tossup is one of those cards which give you a second chance, especially when you have really bad RNG in your dice rolls. What it does, it gives you 2 more tries to roll the dices you don't want into dices that you really need for the turn. As you can tell, this card is just so fantastic. It's like a free version of best travel companion, but it's still got a little of RNG in it, but nonetheless, it's such a great card to have. Number 9, we have Star Signs. Star Signs is that card where you basically, for the cost of 2 dice, which can be any element, you're able to give your active character 1 energy. This card is amazing, especially for setup decks and OTK decks and even sometimes tempo decks where you try to get your burst really fast and you try to utilize this to basically steamroll out of control into a victory. Now, some people might argue that why not just run Iron Tongue Tian instead of Star star signs? Well, star signs give you that immediate energy charge that you might need for that turn. So that is why sometimes you might want to run star signs. Obviously, try not to run both, but if you wish to run both, I'm not going to stop you. And the final card I want to talk about is Leave It To Me. So what Leave It To Me does is it makes it that your switch character action is a fast action instead of a combat action. If you pair this with changing shifts, you pretty much get a free change for nothing. And this is why Leave It To Me is such a great card. In a lot of tempo decks as well, Leave It To Me is also really fantastic where you're swapping characters from attacking and tanking, and it's also fantastic in OTK decks and setup decks alike. So do give Leave It To Me a try, and if you manage to pair it with changing shifts like I said earlier, it's such a fantastic combo. You literally swap characters for free. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like videos like this, please do leave a like. It shows I should do more. Comment down below what you think are the best cards in TCG, or what are some decks you're running right now. I'm thinking of doing a TCG deck video. Subscribe if you like videos like this. We'll be doing more videos like this in the future, whether it be actual Genshin Impact or TCG. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.